So a lot of people listening are pastors, um, churches across Canada, some around the world, and their teams, and they're thinking about the part they have to play in this movement. And I've noticed that, like, even this last Monday, so a week before this is going to be released, I saw a massive decrease on social media of the engagement around the conversation on racial justice. And if pastors listening trying to say, hey, I actually do want to engage, I want to fuel the conversation, I don't want this just to go away, but I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say, I don't know how to engage. Just, can you help, even just speaking to me, what kind of steps can I take as I'm trying to lead a congregation, big or small, and my family, and be a leader in my city? What can I do? What advice would you give me, Danielle?
Yeah, I mean, I think a couple of things. One, you already mentioned to me that you went. So I always say proximity is king when it comes to the kingdom. Proximity is king. So the forces, and this is also, I keep going back to Mark 5 because this is where my brain is, but when Jesus was headed over to the other side, that's when the storm came against him. And you remember the disciples were freaking out. And that's when the disciples said, do you not care? Jesus, he was sleeping. Jesus isn't worried because he's in charge. But the disciples come and, do you not even care about us? And I was thinking a lot about how to get to the other side, there's always resistance, even inside of us, because we're scared of what we don't know. We're scared of people we don't understand. So this is exactly great for you
Scared
to
of being
know.
misunderstood.
Yeah. Scared of
Scared
getting it wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so this is all this fear that exists there. And what I would say is that Jesus is with you. Like that, number one, that Jesus is with you, that he's the one that told you to go to the other side. Like, this is not, you're not departing from your faith, you're being invited into. So number one is know that Jesus is with you. Don't be afraid. This is what practicing your faith means. So I'd say proximity, go. Even if you don't understand, go, because your solidarity means something for you to actually show up and say, I don't know if I'm going to get this right, but I do agree that racism needs to go, and then I would just say that kind of posture of humility to say, I don't really know how to get this right, but all I know is I want a better world. All I know is I hate racism. All I know is I want racism to go away. All I know is that I probably have benefited from a system that has white people at the center of it, but I want to change it. And I don't know how, and I don't know if I'm going to get there really super soon, but I'm going to learn. And that's the other thing I say to people: read. There's so many things, like listen, watch. There's like resources aplenty, and you've got time. You've got time. So get your Netflix out and order your books on a Kindle if they're sold out, and get educated on what people are talking about. And I mean, there are scholars, amazing. If you haven't read the book, James Cone, The Lynching Tree, The Cross and the Lynching Tree, it's unbelievably insightful, theologically deep, beautiful. And you do read, I read that book like last year, 2 years ago, and I just was like, how did we not think of this sooner? The idea that the lynching tree is also like symbolic of the cross, and the deep theology that comes out of, like, what does it mean to be a person that has been part of a lynching community? Anyway, all of those things, so helpful. So I would say learn. And then I would just say humility, man. Posture. You don't need to fix this. You just need to acknowledge it needs to be fixed. You need to own your part in it. You need to do some deep work around it. You need to ask for some help. This is why we don't like this part either. You're going to need to ask some people who are not like you to help you. And that is the opposite of what we want to be in charge and fix everything. This is not fixable by you. This is going to be fixable by somebody else. So there's going to need to be a humility posture shift.
Yeah. I just feel like I want to say, I got a lot of, for anyone listening, like I see it's a problem. I want to see it go. I don't know how, but I don't want to ignore it. And I don't want the conversation to just sneak by, just slip away. And so I got nothing to add. Just so grateful for that. And it is. It's humiliating, right? Not having answers to a problem that you feel complicit in.
Yeah. And then even just to do the work around what does it look like to not only be repentant, but to offer restitution. What can I do to make it right?